And the longest journey begins with one freaking step.
And that's the truth. And the great thing is, what I see here too is the body is so resilient. You can have somebody who's beat the pants off their body for 30, 40, 50 years. And in a couple of short months, their health is back, their hair is back, their eyesight's back, they're walking properly, their joint tissue pain is gone. That like you're driving the most incredible machine ever made, and it's self-healing. All you gotta do is stop beating it up. It's a crazy thing, but it's so true.
Okay, here we are. I'm super excited for this interview. I'm here with Gerry Powell, Masterful Fusion to Reconnect the Soul. Now, he's founder and CEO of Rythmia Life Advanced Centers in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And you're going to have to get down there. Leading destination for all inclusive, medically licensed transformation. Author of the book, Shit the Moon Said, Masterful Fusion to Reconnect the Soul. I love the title of that book, by the way. Featured in award-winning documentary, The Reality of Truth, with Michelle Rodriguez. Gerry, for those just now meeting you, can you share your story? Your story is amazing.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you for that. I'm delighted to be here. And doctor, you're big in the circles I travel in, so it's a great pleasure for me to meet you. So I will just tell you like the ayahuasca story and the medicine story. I was a troubled kid. I was a troubled kid. I was like a juvenile delinquent and ran into a lot of problems, wound up in jail. And not prison, but jail. I was accused of some crimes. I was eventually acquitted, but that was kind of a game changer for me. I decided, hey, I better do something with my life. The road that I'm on is not a good road, and I got into business, and I did pretty good in business. I became a millionaire in my 20s. I became a multimillionaire in my 30s. I sold a company when I was 42 for just under $90 million. And then I quit. And I quit work. And the story sounds good, but during the time from when I was in jail to when I had my last capital event, my life just became terrible. I was mad. I hated myself. I didn't like people. I was an alcoholic, a drug addict. But more than anything, hated people, hated myself. I was unfaithful. I had a wonderful wife and two wonderful kids, and I just screwed everything up. I screwed it all up. And it led me to a place called Passages Malibu. And I was in there for a couple of months. I got my footing. I met a great doctor named Dr. Jeff McNary during my stay at Passages. And I started going to the Agape Spiritual Center. I met Michael Beckwith. My life started getting a little bit better. But for 5 years, I was still screwed up. I was drug addict, alcoholic, a little better version of that. But still the same thing. And I was near death. And I told Dr. Jeff, my therapist, I said, hey, I'm going to kill myself. And he said, instead of doing that, take a vacation. I ended up going to the Philippines, and I ended up meeting a woman who told me about plant medicine. And she said, listen, you have to go there and try this thing, because I was really at the end of my rope. I was suicidal. And I went to Costa Rica, like they said, And I had this most amazing, the 7 days of my life up until that point. That was July 4th, 2014. And I just had all the answers I've been looking for my whole life happened within 1 week. And, I learned that I was an abused kid. I was sexually abused. I learned why I drank alcohol. I learned why I smoked cigarettes. I learned why I love cocaine. I learned all these things and had my heart healed. And, I came back to the United States, and I was really a changed person. Now that is like the start of a now 10-year going forward transformation that continued. But here I am 10 years later, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no anything. The only thing that I'm on is a statin, which a lot of people are telling me not to be on. But I mean, I have this a life where I replicated what happened to me. We did it for a bunch of other people. We created the center called Rythmia. 18,000 people have already been through the doors here. 97.12% say that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. I have a board of directors that volunteers for free, and that board consists of like Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, Kelly Slater, the surfer, Ron White, the comedian, Martin Luther King's son, Martin, Michael Beckwith from Agape, and like just a bunch of the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Like we have this amazing board of directors. They all do it for free. They do it because this is really life-changing. And it really, really is. People throw around that term. Oh, this thing changed my life, and that changed my life. Well, this is 7 of the hardest days you'll ever do in your life, and it will nearly kill you, and you'll walk away a different person. Yeah.
Brother, oh my God, you said something, the why behind it, and I've got tons of patients with addictions from the medical world, addictions from the illicit drug world, everything. My dad spent 3 years on Skid Row and got off and ran a halfway house for alcoholics that I spent a lot of my youth at. I had a niece killed by a forced overdose. I had family members go through drug rehab. It's the why. People, yes. Rehab centers don't look at there's actually a reason that there's the people get a benefit from the cocaine and heroin, even though it's kill them. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
How did was this taught to you, or was this insight?
No, like this is in because we use at Rythmia, we use ayahuasca, which is a concoction of tea that contains DMT, and we use like class programming, 4 nights of ayahuasca, 2 nights of breath work. And in these ayahuasca ceremonies, you're actually shown where you had this rift or the breaking of the soul, or everybody calls it a different thing. So we call it a soul merger when it comes back together. But you're shown where you had this break. And most people are using drugs, alcohol, sex, money, their kids, any external thing, their career, to fill up that hole from the break, and nothing can fill it up. So there's no amount of money, there's no amount of sex, there's no amount of alcohol, there's no amount of cigarettes, there's no amount of anything that can fill that up. You have to get to it and heal that thing. And plant medicine, specifically ayahuasca, is the greatest tool for doing that. And it's not, it's not a quick fix in so much as this. It is the hardest 7 days work most people will ever do in their life. It's really tough. It's hard, it's hard.
Buddy, you're looking at the man in the mirror. I mean, it's they one of my instructors, one of the masters said, everyone's a self-made man, but only the successful admit it.
That's true.
I mean, we're talking about physical, chemical, emotional stress. That's what I talk about always.
Amazing.
That you have to address those three to get to the heart of the matter. And you're addressing the why, which is beyond. Now, I know you guys do services like breathwork, yoga, meditation classes, but that 7 days must be something.
It is. I mean, the ayahuasca journeys themselves are super taxing. I mean, it's hard because you do throw up, you do get sick, you do get scared, there's a lot that goes into it because by the time we get people, they're over 18 and usually under 90, and they have a lifetime of things that have built up, and those lifetime of things come out in 7 days. It's not comfortable. It's an uncomfortable but hugely rewarding experience. And and people, their health issues go away. And so with our program, you have to be on a particular diet. You have to get off certain meds, and then you come down and you have this 7 days of work. And during that 7 days, you eat super clean food. You're doing breathwork, meditation, ayahuasca ceremonies, and you really go through a death experience. So about 80% of the people who come through report that they thought they were dying. So ayahuasca is the vine of the dead. So it runs you through the death experience, which is like wild, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it runs you through a life review, very similar to when people who report near-death experiences or post-death experiences, when they report these things, it's very similar to what happens in an ayahuasca journey. You leave your body, you see everybody leaving around, you have a life review, you look at all the things that you did that you were wrong about. You might see a lot of your grudges from the other person's perspective. Like it's just this, it's dying. And dying's an uncomfortable process. It's not a fun process. So yeah, that's the truth.
I love. I've heard that to be angry with others is like drinking poison and hope they get sick. Again, that's going to be huge, huge. I mean, I've done the 5-MeO DMT a few years ago, and it's that same like you literally do feel like you're leaving this body.
Yes,
and that breaks down so many barriers.
It does
to insight. Damn,
I never saw anybody who smoked 5-MeO who's still an atheist, right?
Yeah.
You never find an atheist that smoked 5-MeO, Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a belief in God. Like Carl Jung said, it's a knowing. I see God in every human I touch. So it's like,
I love it that way, Doc. And no, you have a great understanding of seeing God in people. What I love is that a lot of what we see in conventional religions is true, that there is this life review. The difference is like you're your own judge and jury, but there is a life review. These things that a lot of this stuff that was like, when I first got spirituality, I thought, those Catholics don't know what the hell they're talking about. They really don't get it. And then here, as soon as I had a death experience, I went through a life review and I was like, oh, Jesus, everything is recorded. The whole thing is out there. You know?
Okay, so you get somebody in, right now, opioids, fentanyl, antidepressants, and I'm going to send you a bunch of data on the statins.
Okay.
Okay, we could talk.
It's bad stuff. I know.
Oh, buddy, yeah, you're gonna. It's a little enlightenment that hopefully I can send you, brother.
I would love that.
Hey, when people these are really, really sick and stressed people. I know you got a medical team. How do they screen out some of these like really hardcore addicts?
So people who are addicts. So about 10% of our business is addicts. Most of our business comes from men and women that have had huge success and haven't found meaning in it. So I get a ton of I get more investment bankers than I get anything. I get, but to your question, a lot of people are addicted and don't even know they're addicted. Mm-hmm. I get people all the time that are spending $5 and $8 grand a month on Amazon and looking at the guy next to him who has a scotch and saying he's an addict, right? So there's addiction takes many forms. Work, and so we have a medical staff here. We have 3 doctors, 11 nurses, a microbiologist, microbiologists, 2 EMTs that are constantly here during ceremonies, because the ceremony itself, can get wild. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. I mean, people are doing hard work, but what's interesting is about 1/3 of the people that apply to come are rejected because they're on something that's contraindicated and they're told to get off that for 30 days before they come. So we were very, very attentive to that detail. 18,000 people have been through here. And so our systems are really good and really on point. So yeah, that's the one thing about coming here. People want to try ayahuasca, but they're afraid because of, being in a strange country, not having doctors, We answer all that. We're 100% English speaking, great doctors, great nurses, great shaman. Our holistic team has 47 people on it. We're a 200 employee company, down in Costa Rica, and safety is the most important thing. But I will tell you this: I've never met an addict that has come through here and has done the program right and was really addicted to anything. Yep. So at the end of the day, and that's why the difference between white knuckling, let's say alcohol, and getting to the source of that and disconnecting it are 2 different things. The guy that's white knuckling alcohol has to go to 7 AA meetings a week. He has to constantly be saying these sayings and reaffirming himself, speaking to sponsors. And I have nothing against that. That's great, but it's hard work. That in itself, I know people that have been in that program for 25 years, and it's really tantamount to another full-time job, quitting that. With plant medicine, when you get an understanding of what made that happen in the first place, and you put it back together, the need for that goes away. So you're dealing with a different feeling, the feeling of, I have to grind this out and I have to say no to that drink or that cigarette or that joint or that whatever, to, I just don't want it anymore. And that is a big difference. It's a huge difference to not want it. I'm a funny guy. I do everything I want to do. For me to quit something, I no longer I have to not like it anymore. or I won't quit it. If I'm on Mounds candy bars and I see a Mounds candy bar, I'm eating it. I'm going for it. So for me, those things had to be disconnected because I would have just kept doing it. I would have kept smoking, kept drinking, kept doing cocaine, kept doing everything because it's what I wanted to do. Once they were broken, once that was broken and I saw, oh, that's why it is, and the medicine puts it back together, in this experience, and you just no longer want it. And honestly, for a lot of people, we look back on that and can't even understand what the draw was of either that cigarette or that drink or that line of cocaine or that whatever it was. And that's really truthful. That's not like a fabricated discussion to I see people all the time that say, oh, I'm doing better than I was 9 months ago, but they're really barely hanging on.
Yep.
This is not hanging on. This is looking at what you did and having no connection to it. So now and that creates its own new problems because if a new but better class of problem. So I no longer spend 6 hours a day drinking and smoking. What do I do now? That's the new problem. Yeah.
The hardcore addicts are people that need something to fill a void, and it could be the drink at after work, or the drink at lunch, or the little line for a boost, or just a cigarette at the cigarette break, or that's the addicts. I mean, because they're using something that's detrimental to their health or family to fill the void, porn, whatever.
Yes.
And taking away the reason for that's just phenomenal. Because I do know so many people, I'm an alcoholic. I haven't had a drink in 40 years, but I got to go to my meetings all the time.
Yeah.
It is a full-time job.
Good job.
Because they're not addressing the underlying. Now, I mean, with what you have there, an all-inclusive luxury resort destination. And by God, if you're going to take a vacation, take it for your soul.
I'm with you.
What can people expect when they arrive?
Well, the thing is, there's probably 14 hours of classwork. And the place is beautiful. And if you go to TripAdvisor Rythmia, you'll see, I think there's 2,700 reviews and 2,675 are 5-star. Like it's people flip out over it. It's really amazing. So it's a beautiful place. It's in the jungle, and it's a seasonal jungle. Guanacaste has a dry season, a wet season, a summer season, a green season. But it's a beautiful place. And, when you come in, everything is taken care of for you. You don't have to think. You're taken to classes. You go through those classes. You get in these different groups. And then there's breathwork, meditation, yoga. In addition to the ayahuasca ceremonies, it's a whole program. Every hour of your week is spent either around plant medicine or in support of those plant medicine journeys. And the families that come out of here, each group, like from, let's say, on a slow week, there's 50 people. On a busy week, there's 95. And they become a family and they stay together forever. Like it's like going to summer camp, except it's a really nice camp, Yeah.
I mean, if people knew what ayahuasca does, I mean, it detoxes. It's an antioxidant. It's cleaning up the system,
Yeah.
the medical world is so backwards now. They're not looking at the energy of this or the energy of that, and in the future, that's what we're going to be looking at: vibrational, and the intention. When I teach my doctors, is when you're touching someone, your intention is just as important as which direction you're pushing. Now, your guest speakers are amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
Michael Bethwick, Cesar Millan, Jack Canfield. But the book you wrote, okay, is Shit the Moon Said. What was the inspiration for this?
That was the story of me having businesses, doing okay, like losing myself, then having this plant medicine journey, and then starting Rythmia, and just this experience of giving your life. You know what was so funny? When I was making the most amount of money, I was the most needy I ever was, and I remember like looking at. I think my first payment was $33 million. I remember that day. It was a big day for me. And I looked at my bank, sent me the notice that I had the money. And I thought, well, that doesn't feel any different than it did 20 minutes ago. Like I thought this whole thing that I was told that you get enough money, life is going to be happy and you're going to be great. And this is my thing in that book. I say the most important thing that I think everybody should do is make a ton of money once so they know it's not it. Because most of the people are chasing that I'm going to make a ton of money and they never get it. And the whole time it was a wood duck. It wasn't even real. They were chasing something that is not going to give them what they thought. And so this story of Shit the Moon Said is this story of changing from what can the world give me to how can I give something back. And in that shift, you go from a liability to Earth to being an asset of Earth. And that feeling of giving is probably the highest vibration of giving and thanks. And Doc, you're a very different doctor because you know this. That vibration of giving and thanks are the highest place you can be, and it's not a peak experience. If you stay in that vibration, it's a way of being satisfied with your life, and less hills and valleys, Yeah.
God, I hope it's a book on tape because I drive a lot. You're the next book I'm going to get.
I bet you do drive a lot. I was just thinking about that. I bet you're driving a lot.
Yeah. Books on tape, I'm really into.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things, I mean, money is an energy. And it's always said money doesn't buy happiness, but it gives you freedom. And that freedom comes with a responsibility. And I think you're absolutely right on. You got to learn that. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that it's going to add to your life or to those around you.
Yeah. I swear to you, I know I get, a lot of my clients are extremely well-heeled. And when I was a kid, if you had $1 million, it was a lot of money. I was born in 1963. In 1973, $1 million, you didn't know anybody who had $1 million, right? And now these kids, some of the crypto kids and kids I had a kid here that had $16 billion. And I'm like, why are you unhappy? And he said, because it's not what I thought. And it never is. It's never what you thought. It's always that capital event is a guidepost, and it will point you at the whole. I always love this. I had one guy that I knew who was wealthy, and I said to him, and this when I was a kid, I was in my 20s. I said, man, what's it like having that much money because he had a lot of money. And he said, well, any little problem you have will grow to this. And I thought, that's an interesting explanation, but I found it to be true. I found it to be true. Yeah. If you have a thing for women or men or drugs, or when you put the magnification glass of money on that thing, it grows. So it could be a guidepost to lead you to the wholeness that you always wanted.
Brilliant. Oh my gosh. Now I know you're offering something called the Our Life Integration app, an app.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that app, well, a lot of the problem that people have with ayahuasca experiences is that there's no pre-work, there's no class time to set them up to understand what's going to happen. And then once they're finished, they're let go without any support. And our program is much different because we do all of the work before you drink the ayahuasca. Then you have the ayahuasca experience, and then there's an app that guides you through the integration by day. So every day you have this app to support you, and this is all this is. And you're, John, I know you know about this, but when we're forming new habits, so all of a sudden I have an 8-hour or a 24-hour day, and I have 6 new hours that weren't there because I was doing this other shit. And all of a sudden there's 6 new hours. Well, I better have a daily practice in something to a container to hold and form the new me and make some new daily rituals or routines, be that a little bit of breath work, meditation, yoga, a little bit of exercise. I have to have some kind of system or container to hold this change. And that's what that application does. And I know you in the anti-aging business, I know that you're, I don't know this, but my guess is you're very, very pro like daily practices, whether they're right, whether it's a health practice or a meditation practice or
Yeah, you've got to incorporate this. And we teach every patient how to reprogram their emotional state, how to change their sleep pattern, which, brother, changing habit patterns is hard. And then stuff they can do to restore their function. That app sounds awesome. I'm going to get it.
It's good. And I want to ask you this with what you just said, that, if you get a patient and the patient has horrible habits and you light them up with stem cells and they're brand new for 6 months, but they don't change shit, then in 6 more months, they're back to where they started.
100%.
And people don't get that this is not like the change that guys like us are working towards on behalf of people. That change is lent, right? It's you borrow those stem cells. If you don't change who you are, then you're just going to go back to the same thing. And that's why there's such a great amount of failure, because there's lots of guys in the anti-aging business and they will light you up with stem cells or hormone replacement therapy or a combination of both or whatever, and then kick you out on your own, and you're still eating Big Macs and drinking Coca-Colas, and the next thing you know, you're back to where you started. And that's why guys like us that talk about change, that are saying there are no magic bullets, there are no silver bullets, but the magic's in you. You need a silver bullet to restart the old machine, but the magic is in you to sustain it. This is a game of change and sustain. right? We got to change what we're going to do
100%.
and sustain how we live, and do that every day. And like, in the plant medicine world, people always talk about, consistency versus intensity. And the thing about consistency is that you can be old, and if you're consistent, you'll win. So if you say, okay, no more Coca-Cola, I'm going to drink water. No more, I'm going to do an hour of red light therapy a week, and then you're consistent at it, you can win the game. And that's why consistency, in my opinion, wins in these things. And businesses like ours that are really designed to help people, if they're unassisted, it's a blip on a screen. It's a rise and a fall. That's why it's so important to do these integration programs, to change their habits, to be honest with people. I mean, there are guys I know in the stem cell business that never even mentioned nutrition. They're just like, they're like, okay, take these stem cells, and then the guy you put them in, the 50-year-old guy who feels brand new 3 days later goes, hey, I knew it wasn't about diet. And then 6 months later, they're back in the same boat, right?
100%.
Crazy stuff.
I'm answering questions on stem cells every day, and I say, look, I got my own clinic that we do stem cells. Don't get them until you fix the problem.
I love that.
And they'll go, what do you mean? No, my knee's wearing out. No, it's not. You got an altered hip. You got an unstable pelvis. You got a shitty lifestyle. You got one bowel movement a day when you should have 3. Your sleep patterns are interrupted. Just injecting it won't work. Well, I'll get the IV then. No. I'm the last of 4 kids raised by a single mom. So, I don't want anyone spending money that they're not going to get a value back for it.
I
have never heard anyone talk about stem cells correctly other than you.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, we see it down here like that, this whole change in who you are by having either stem cells, which are sent in, a plant medicine experience, which is sent in, and it's trying to work for you. If you don't do the pre and the post work, you're just trading dollars for an interim experience that's great, but it's not sustainable until you change as a person. And the funny thing is, just information is generally not enough to make people change, right? Because, well, from being a doc that I bet 90% of the physicians in the United States never talk about nutrition. For the first time, we have this guy who's talking about nutrition. Like, I'm so thrilled that at least they're starting to hear it, but there are people that don't really understand that you can't put tainted gasoline into the machine and have it run perfectly. It doesn't work. It's like, and this whole Rythmia process is about that. It's about, changing your relationship with food. The average guest loses 7 pounds in 1 week. That's the average guest that's here.
I think you're mentioning Mr. Kennedy. He's actually a patient.
Is that right?
And he's a super bitchin' guy. I mean, he's just what you would think he's like. He really is an honorable, cool guy. But you're right. You mention anything about nutrition. When I tell people that you got to change this style, then any injection you get, whether it's PRP or stem cells, that can have a magical effect on regeneration.
Yeah.
You got to fix the infrastructure.
Yes.
Now, when your retreat is amazing. Yeah. I mean, because it's a retreat for the body, mind, and soul.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And if you don't think the pack a day smoking, or, the drink at lunch is only a small margarita, or, whatever you're doing.
Right.
Life without it might be better. You got to have a purpose greater than yourself. And now, how can people register to attend an event at your retreat? How can they get down there?
They go to www.rythmia.com. It's RYTHMIA.com. And the website will walk them through the whole process. If you don't qualify to drink plant medicine, you can come back. You can switch your habit and then come 30 days later or 60 days later. If you want to come without the plant medicine, that's fine, because it is a program retreat without plant medicine. Yoga, meditation, breath work, the classes, it all happens, and we can give you a great result. But the best thing is to come and to experience the plant medicine. And if you're having health problems, it's a great place to come, because you lose 7 pounds in the week that you're here. Number one, a guy like I'm 190 pound guy. The average guy, 170 to 190 pounds, will lose 7 pounds in the week that they're there, the average guy or gal. But you will walk away with a new way to be in the world. And that is where the value is. It's not in the aha moments that you get during the week. It's in the tools and systems that you bring with you, for the rest of your life. It is one of the best stats here is that at 6 months, you get a survey, an electronic survey, and 90.22% of the people that have been here say that, number one, the things that they learned are still working in their life, and that this was the week that changed their life. So they actually say it was the pivotal week in their life to date, the week that changed their life, because it does. And all you have to do is put into practice what you learned to keep it going.
So even if you're taking multiple pharmaceuticals,
yes.
But the most prescriptions I've ever seen in one person was 32 prescriptions.
How can that person?
She crashed her car in front of the Huntington Beach clinic and told the police officers, "I'm not stoned." So even if you think that you've got every contraindication that you can't possibly do this, you're taking multiple prescriptions and your doctor's labeled you with 5 different diagnoses.
Which happens.
Wait, I see it every day. We're in a chemical-based healthcare system that is completely dysfunctional. Man, this is the first step.
I agree.
Make it. And the longest journey begins with one freaking step.
And that's the truth. And the great thing is, what I see here too is the body is so resilient. You can have somebody who's beat the pants off their body for 30, 40, 50 years. And in a couple of short months, their health is back, their hair is back, their eyesight's back, they're walking properly, their joint tissue pain is gone. That you're driving the most incredible machine ever made, and it's self-healing. All you gotta do is stop beating it up. It's a crazy thing, but it's so true.
In fact, this Wednesday, I've got a discussion with some of the doctors that work at our clinic to say the body is self-healing and self-regulating. High blood pressure is not a disease; it's the body adapting. And wouldn't you think that that's like a basic common knowledge?
They don't teach. That's not what they learn, right? It's not what they learn, and because it's not what they learn prescribe. And next thing you know, you have, when you go from a Latin American country to the United States, and you just see the difference in obesity, and these folks are eating beans and rice and normal stuff. And when you get to candy bar land, everybody looks sick. They all look sick in the United States. They do. And other countries that, when I was younger, I lived in Australia for 3 or 4 years. I was in my 20s, and Australians were thin and healthy and and I come back to the United States and I see obesity, sickness, wheelchairs, like all of these things, right? And as the food production got commoditized and treated, and healthcare took a universal form. Now everybody's sick. There's not a safe place other than some Asian countries where you just see masses of healthy people. Like, it's really sad to see the United States and to see everybody being so sick, and our bodies weren't designed to be 350 pounds. It's not the nature of our bone structure. It's not, the engineering doesn't fit. If you ever see the x-ray of that person, it wasn't engineered for that. Crazy, right? Yeah.
When you just mentioned the airplanes, when you get off an airplane in America, because I fly around America speaking, you get off on the part that leads from the plane itself. There's all these wheelchairs lined up.
Tons, right?
And when you go to Thailand or Korea or the Philippines or Bangkok, there's not 20 wheelchairs waiting for 100 people. It's completely different.
Night and day different. And in Thailand too, that food is really good. It's good for people, like good quality food, right? Even the street food is quality food.
Except for the MSG, I say. But man, you get the street food. Yeah, that street food is out of this world. The best street food around. Oh, okay. So at this, anyone listening to this, please do it for your family. Do it for yourself. Register. I mean, Gerry, this is like the
I want to see you here, Doc. I want to get you here. I want to get you here and spend a week with you and learn more about anti-aging, and that's the truth. I'd love to share time with you. I hear many great things about your Tijuana clinic. I hear great things. I want to see it. I'd love to come in and chat with you. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to fall in love. I'm telling you right now with the live blood cell analysis.
Yeah. That sounds wild to me. I love that.
It's really cool. I can train any doc that wants to play with a microscope or, to do it. It's really cool.
And it's real, right? It's real.
Immediate. And getting the sample is important and looking at it. But you'll see the differences. Significant differences.
Wow. Count me in. I'll be there.
Okay, bitchin'. I look forward. I'm going to give you a big hug when I see you in September.
I can't wait to meet you, Doc, in person.
I'm looking forward to meeting you too. This has been wonderful. So down below, when Kat gets all done, they're going to have all the links and everything else. But man, to sign up. This has been so much fun.
Good.
I hope this is.
Thank you, perfect. Doc. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Kat.
Thanks, brother. You're making a difference.